Hi there, welcome back to another one of my PSDK tutorial videos. In this one we're going to be going over how to use the MapLinker, how to make a custom tile set, because I said we'd do that in the last one and I kind of skipped over it, but we're not going to spend a lot of time in that, and I'm going to kind of explain a certain switch that's used that kind of goes with the MapLinker. That's very, very important, and I want to go over that one actually first just to get it right through your heads immediately, and I'll probably go over it again when we do the MapLinker part, but so when we go inside of a building, you're going to see this switch right here called the use black and white in out, or sorry, not that one, the MapConnection disabled switch. When you go inside buildings, this always is on. You want the map connections to be disabled. But when you leave a building, that is always off, which I can demonstrate right here. So MapConnection disabled is off. Another thing I wanted to cover that I think I missed in the last video is, as you see, these are KO warp IDs. So when you get knocked out, you actually don't want these ones. You don't want these in your maps, typically. I should have covered that in the last one, but I skipped over it. So make sure that you don't have these in every single house, or else it's going to cause an issue. So make sure that these aren't in it. This is only for Pokemon centers specifically, or if you want somebody to be... warp to this area when they get knocked out. So make sure that this is not in there for every single building. So as I said, you want this disabled to be off. So technically what it would mean is MapConnection is now enabled for when you leave buildings. That's how it is always, and that's how you want it to be. This is very, very important. I can't stress that enough when it comes to connecting maps, or else it's going to cause issues, which I can technically show you. And I think we will show it. So I'm gonna make a little thing here. So it's gonna be like a little camera guy, I guess. And he's gonna say map connections, right? And then we're gonna do choices just to make it really easy. So we're gonna say enable and then disable, right? So for disabled, we technically want the switch, which I think was 16, right? No, it's not. It's here. We're going to apply and press OK. We're gonna grab it from here. It is 6. Okay, so for MapConnection disabled, okay, so when you want it disabled, you want this switch to be on, and when you want it enabled, you want the switch to be off. Okay, so we're gonna come back to this part later. So next, what we're gonna do, I guess I'll show the tile set last, so we can get this out of the way. So we're going to copy this test map just so it's the same size and width and everything as the one that we're connecting it to, but we're actually going to clear it out so it doesn't have everything. So, and then we're going to grab the event, which I think there was one there and one there, and we're going to go to our original map, the one that we're connecting it with, because this part's very, very important. We're going to grab the select tool just to make it easy. And you need to make sure that you're grabbing at least 3 tiles. Actually, no, only 3 tiles. And then you can do as high as the map is, because that's where it's connecting. So make sure you do make sure you do 3 tiles. Copy that, go into our second map, right, the one that we're connecting it to, and then paste it, right? It's that simple. Now you can do whatever you want with the rest of the map. You could honestly make it look however you want. So I'm going to demonstrate that real quick. So we're going to grab this, kind of have it still look the same on the top, but the rest of it will look different. So we're going to grab this pond here, and we're just going to make it, you know, whatever. It doesn't have to look good, but there we go. Right? Maybe connect it there so people can't go over there. I don't like how that looks. Then we're going to put a sign just to prove that this is where the map technically stops connecting. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This right here, the sign should no longer be connecting. Like, this should be outside the map connector. So this should show perfectly fine. If I had this here in this area, it would not work right at all. So make sure it's always, whenever you change stuff, it has to be past the 3rd tile. And then we're going to make little grass, I guess, just to, again, show that this is a different map. Alright. This isn't a pretty map. I'm not showing you how to make a pretty map, but I'm just showing how to connect the map. So we're going to save this here, right? And then we're just going to close RPG Maker. Did not mean to have that open. And then we're going to go into our tutorial file. We're going to open up our RubyHost, because this is where the MapLinker is. It's in RubyHost, like most things. Open up the MapLinker and make sure, technically yours should not look like this, but make sure you open up the maps that you're trying to connect, which we're trying to connect our test map with our second test map. And since we want to connect it to the right side, it's got to be on the east side. Since they are the perfect height and the perfect height technically, we don't actually have to mess with any of these other things, but if you weren't doing that, you would have to. And it's pretty self-explanatory. If this was like if this was a 2, this would move it, the south map, I think 2 to the right. If it was a -2, then it would move it to the left. Pretty self-explanatory. So since ours are the same height and everything, we actually don't have to mess with any of these settings, and we're just gonna hit save. So it knows that our test map is now connected to our test map 2. We're gonna close this, right? And then we're gonna reopen RPG Maker and open up our game. So we're gonna open up the game and then we're gonna start it. I saved outside of the Pokemon Center to make it a lot easier. I don't have to go through that tutorial every time. So like I said before, when you go into a building, the map connection thing turns off, which I didn't change this. So when we go to our test map, it's not going to be on, right? Which is why you see black. So we're going to talk to this guy. We're going to say map connections. We're going to enable them, which they're not there for some reason. But maybe if we go into here and then we come back out, they work properly. And this is where the 3 are overlapping. So this is technically the 4th one. I don't know why that didn't work. Maybe I set it up wrong. Let's see. If I go to enable, still doesn't do it. Disable, doesn't do it either. Oh, okay. You know, it definitely does. It just doesn't show it. So I guess the map has to refresh by you going into a place. So that's why it's important that you do the map connections properly when you leave and enter buildings, or else you don't have to deal with that issue. So apparently you cannot disable them when you're outside. It has to refresh the map. So this guy's kind of pointless and doesn't show my point at all. But yeah, I mean, that's how it works. So again, I'm just going to explain this one last time to make sure it gets through your head. When you go inside buildings, make sure it's always disabled. And when you leave a building, that you always enable the map connections by turning off the switch. Super important. It prevents you from running into issues like the map being black and it not being there. I don't know how else to explain that. It's pretty much as easy as it gets. So now I'm going to show you how to make a custom tile set. I find mine on DeviantArt. It's where I find all my tiles. Pretty simple. Just look up Pokemon tile set. That's all you got to do. You can technically be more specific if you wanted, but you don't need to be. So we're going to grab these because these are the ones that I already grabbed and already downloaded, as you see here. Always make sure that you are using public tiles. If they say private, do not use them. I cannot stress that enough. You are stealing at that point. So just because you find them on DeviantArt doesn't mean that they're public. Very important though, make sure that you have a text document listing every single person that you are required to credit if you're using their tiles. So this person says credit if you use, which means that you have to credit Rose. It also says it here in the file. So when you download it, you're going to find it right here. So I opened mine in paint.net. It's a free program. I highly suggest everyone get it. It's very simple to use, very, very easy to use, and it's free. I mean, cannot stress free. As you see here, it looks like the tile ends right on this line right here. So we're going to see how high this is, which it's 16, which means that we need to double these because RPG Maker works with 32 by 32 squares. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control R. If you're using a different program, I don't know what the button would be, but you got to resize your image to nearest neighbor. That's very, very important. If you do best quality by 200, it's going to make it blurry, and you don't want that. It's not the best quality, actually. The best quality with pixels is nearest neighbor, because that looks right, doesn't it? So now we're going to grab this, which it ends right there. And if you're good with math, it just has to be 32 by 32. So since it's 3 wide, it's 96. Since it's X amount high, which I don't know how much it is, it's 224. So we're gonna close this, and I'll supply this template. I really like it. I've been using it for a long time. I always work on a separate layer to make it easier on myself. And we're gonna paste the tiles, and as you see, they fit in the squares perfectly. So that's how you know you did something right. Next, we're gonna grab these. I know it's not gonna work all the way through. This should be, I think that's it. Yeah, that looks about right. Paste that, and we're gonna put this here. Perfect, yep. And then we're gonna grab this other one. It's very easy to build the tile set. It's less easy to keep it organized when you continue building off of it. That is the hard part, is keeping it all organized. I mean, you don't need to keep it organized if you don't really care, but I kind of like to keep mine somewhat organized. So we're gonna grab these and make sure that it is 96 by 194. No, not 194, 192. Yep. And then paste this here, and there you go. That is literally your custom tile set. Now, if you don't obviously want all these squares behind it, so we're gonna grab this, and since we're working on a separate layer, we don't actually have, excuse me, my goodness, you don't have to deal with all these squares. So we're gonna cut it, and then we're gonna go into a new file and paste it there. Bada bing, bada boom. We save it. Make sure that you're saving in your graphics tileset folder. So from here, from our root folder, we go into our graphics, tilesets, and you can save it here. You can name it whatever you want. The most important thing is that you're saving it as a PNG, so it's transparent. Some people don't know that. I don't know how, but some people don't know that by now. So it can be named whatever you want. It can have spaces, it doesn't matter. And we're gonna save, right? I just name it custom tileset to make it easy on myself. We're going to open up our database right here, and we're going to make sure that we're in the tilesets tab. And then we're going to go on 10 because that's the first empty one. You can technically do 20, you can do 13, you can do whatever you want, doesn't matter. And then we're going to click on our custom tileset image, and then we're going to go to the name, and we're just going to name it custom tileset again. Very simple, very easy. Now, to cover the in-game database, the passage means that if it's a circle, you can walk on it. If it's an X, you can't. So since we don't want to walk through trees, we're going to mark those as X's. And since we can't walk on water, unfortunately, we're going to make these all X's too. Now I personally like to let my people walk here, and I don't think I need to do this either because these are already X's, but I just like to be safe. So we're going to mark those so you can't walk on those, and I think we're now good to go with the in-game database. So we're gonna hit OK, we're gonna hit save, and we're gonna close RPG Maker, go back into our PSDK folder, and this time we don't use RubyHost, but we use the launcher and open up the system tags. Can't stress this enough. As always, we use references from our already given tile sets or given things from the kit. It's very important that you do that. So we're going to cover these ones first because it already has a lot of them in there that we don't have in our custom tile set yet. So grass means that you're going to get grass encounters. The sea means that it's a sea, which gives you sea encounters, pond encounters. Very, very simple stuff. It also allows you to surf on the pond and in the sea. Then we have the jump encounters, which are for little cliffs, similar to the ones in Fire Red and Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald, Diamond and Pearl, all those games. So they're kind of hard to see on this, so we're just going to cover them inside the actual editor over here. This one allows you to jump to the right, the left, down, and up. It's very simple. He did a good job, marking them, labeling them. Then we have the pond again, which this allows you to surf. Then I don't know what Z equals 0. I unfortunately can't help there. The mountain gives you the mountain encounters, and I think that might be all that he put in here. Yeah. So the tall grass, I believe, slows you down. Then we have over here, we have a hole, which either you fall into or it's like the ice hole thing. I'm not sure. Ones that I really like right here are the stairs. So one of my favorite features about PSDK is that it works like proper stairs. You just have to label them with these right here. And then the up and down ones, they make you go a little bit slower, but it looks good. Then we have the swamps, which I don't know the difference between the swamp BD and the DP swamp, but I know that it makes you sink if you use them. Then we have the bike ones right here, which I believe these are the rails. So for instance, you can only go in a certain direction with the bike, I think. Don't quote me. I don't know for sure. Over here we have the underwater one, which is pretty self-explanatory. It just means that you have now dived and that you are underwater. Gives you the underwater encounters. The snow, maybe it leaves snow footprints. I don't really know actually. I haven't used these. Then we have the ice, which allows you to slide. These I think push you. These are like the I mean, it looks like it says rapid, so maybe that's what it stands for. The waterfall here is for you to use waterfall and go up and down. Then we have headbutt trees, and then we have, I think that's about it actually. These are the spinning tiles, I believe. The ones that make you spin or they push you or whatever. And I don't know what these ice ones do. So, you gotta kind of mess around with them a little bit. But we're gonna go to our custom tile set and we're gonna use our own. Which I already did, technically. So we're going to right click to delete the what we've already put down. So if I put ice right, if I hold right click, I can delete them, no issue. So since all we have in ours is technically this water, I didn't do a great job making my tile set, but I explained the other one, so I should be good. We're gonna put pond on these because that's what this looks like to me. It doesn't look like an ocean or a lake or whatever, sea. It just looks like a pond. I believe pond allows me to surf. So if I'm on right here, I will be using surf now on the edges and stuff and into the water. Pretty easy. Whatever you do, make sure that you click on this purple button up here that says save afterwards, and then your tile set should now be saved. It should work fine. Hopefully I did a decent job explaining this. If I didn't, I apologize. And hopefully you guys learned something from this. Don't know yet what we're going to cover in the next one. Maybe I'll do trainer battles. Maybe I'll do something else. I don't know yet. But hopefully it's helped. And if it did, it would mean a lot if you would subscribe and leave a like. And I will see you guys in the next PSDK tutorial. Bye-bye.